Okay, hold on. The love boat is about to get a little rocky. Next on Pastor Bob Daily. Glad you've joined me today. I wanted to do part 2 of a podcast that I did yesterday, and it was called You Don't Understand Unconditional Love. Then it says Pastor Bob gets a little, or what does it say? Pastor Bob rocks the love boat. So anyway, let's get into it today. You know, we've been talking about this whole idea of marriage, and it all started with someone writing to me saying that his wife was abusing him and she was trying to commit suicide to get his attention. And he wondered about a divorce, and my recommendation was, well, threefold. Find out why she's doing it, because we all have a role to play in this. Secondly, please get help, because that's really important. And thirdly, divorce is not the first option. So let's talk more about this today. And I had so much to say, and I couldn't do it all yesterday. And some of you in your comments from my podcast yesterday actually brought up some things I'm about to talk about today. The first one I want to talk about, though, is community, something that nobody really brought up. You see, marriage isn't just about two people. It's about two people and their families and their friends. When my friends and family marry, I realize that I'm about to take on also a responsibility for their well-being. Whether that's to be a silent bystander and pray, or to be active in saying, what can I do to help when the times get rocky? But community is extremely important when we face these kinds of difficulties that get a little sticky. You know, this should have involved a whole community of people who love this couple and can also help. It should have involved older married couples who can see a problem and step in and say, let's help with this. Let us help with this. Let's sit down. Let's figure it out. Let's get through this. Because that would make all the difference in the world. This is what the body of Christ is for. I keep saying this. You know, church is not a spectator sport. It's not a spectator sport. It is involvement in each other's lives. This is what spiritual gifts are for. Somebody that has the gift of mercy can step in. Somebody that has the gift of exhortation can step in. Somebody that has the gift of serving, the gift of teaching. You see where I'm going. And so it really involves a lot of people that really could help. Secondly, when something is really toxic, it's also fixable. And, you know, here's the thing that surprised me so much in a lot of the comments that you made. And that is that many of you were ready to throw her away. You know, lock her up, get rid of her, leave her, etc., etc. I'm so glad that Christ didn't do that with you and I when we do the same things. I'm so glad that he's tolerant with us, that he loves us enough to help us get fixed and provides a method to get fixed. And so a toxic relationship through unconditional love can turn around if things are done properly. The other thing is that marriage kind of sets you straight. It begins to point out those things that you're not so good at. And, you know, I'm continually doing counseling with people who are surprised at themselves in marriage, having difficulties and having issues they didn't realize they had. Man, the one thing that brings those out more than anything is marriage. Because now you have to interact with somebody, well, when you feel like it and when you don't feel like it. 24 hours a day, this is the person. And sometimes we don't understand how ugly some of our sides can be, not just the other person. And sometimes those things in us will also set the other person off in some of those things they're struggling with too. Well, another question was, what if the roles are reversed, Pastor Bob? What if it was a man abusing his wife? Wouldn't you tell her to leave right away? I would. And I would maybe tell this to this couple as well. In his first question to me, he didn't tell me how bad it was, so I would have had a little different advice had I known some of the details. But my basic advice would be the same. Yeah, you probably need to separate for a while, but fix it. Go through some counseling. Make sure that both of you are okay and that you're getting some help that you desperately need. You see, all of this is important. Folks, the thing that concerns me the most with all of this is how quickly we're ready to throw people away, to get rid of them, to divorce ourselves from them, not just a spouse, but sometimes friends and family. Just away you go, instead of really trying to fix it and trying to realize what the toxicity might be and be willing to work through it, because that's important. So these are all things that I want you to consider. Do I think this marriage will survive? I don't know. Is divorce maybe imminent? It could be, but I'd sure love to see it as a last resort. And I think there are some steps that you can take before you get to that place. All right. Well, I don't want to do a part 3. I hope we've covered it. And I really appreciate it when you leave your comments below. It really helps, and I think it makes for a great conversation. Make sure you like this as well, because it helps with the algorithms and more people will see the podcast as well. I love you. God bless you. Have a great day.